As you might be able to tell, I am running out of these. So having done that, which I've somehow endeavored to do every time, let me shut this thing up and play this instead. And stall this for a few more moments since I need to find a thing before I can begin. Luckily though, it doesn't look like it's gonna take very long. Oh yeah, I should probably tell someone that I'm actually streaming right now. And why not make it a Skype thing as well? There we go. So let me see if the game I had in mind is even prepared. It should be, since I'm seeing a folder here. Hello Spy, welcome to the stream. Let me see, yes. So I think it's time to finish playing this music and try to see how the game works. Gotta minimize that window, got to save this and run it in the proper scale.
G R R R R R R R
Oh god.
U N D ISLE Gurusoft.
Unfortunately, it still does that thing where it sort of skips if you unfocus the window, but what can you do about it? So it should be visible now. There we go. And yes, it's more of this incredible epic saga. So what is our old friend up to now? Well, as you might recall, at the end of the last case, he went to London after everyone he thought he knew, died, and he was reimbursed by Scotland Yard. So what happened after that? Office of Percival Quentin Jones, whom you might remember. He used to be a jerk, but he's being quite amiable now. Hehe. No, the bar music is gone forever. Don't you worry, Lizard Man. And also we have a black leather jacket now, so that's a change of outfit. So Percival is still a skeptic, but he is a lot nicer now. But he was impressed with our detective skills, apparently. And the Smailholm case is closed. But we're getting an unexpected visitor. This old guy. Randolph Miggs, who runs an antique bookshop at number 50 Berkeley Square. I wonder if any of you know that legend, but if not, you will very soon. And they recently had a problem with paranormal activities. Ghosts, to be precise. Apparently it's a unique story, the most famous tale of which happened on a cold, foggy night back in 1843. Which we will see now, of course. Also, Spiffy, this is Ben Jordan 4, actually. Ben Jordan 2 and a deluxe edition were 1 or 2 streams ago. And by the way, when I tried to upload that video to YouTube, apparently the bar song got a freaking Content ID match. So that's something. Yes, this art. I wonder if these guys are robbers. I don't want to imagine how cockney they would be expected to sound. So they're tired, but they can't find a place to lie down. So they try to sneak into this place. Oh, incidentally, I think I recall hearing the author of this game say that the way he made these graphics was by rotoscoping. Actually, he took pictures of himself in various poses and traced over them. So there's that to keep in mind. So they found a way into this place with ash grey walls. Wink wink. And it's not very comfortable, but at least they have a roof over their heads, right? But it's awfully quiet except for someone coming up the stairs. What could that be? You can kind of hear it. Uh-oh. That is a spook. A spook which apparently tosses this guy out the window and leaves him to get impaled. Apparently they were sailors, not robbers. That's kind of weird. And the other sailor went completely mad. And no one knows what happened, but everyone refers to the spook as the horror. So we're being hired to investigate. So that's convenient. Didn't even have to go back home before we got our next case. Why not? Let's do it. After all, our line of work requires us to take leaps of faith. And we got Percy's number, so that's something else. That'll come into play before too long. So we're leaving our valuables with Percy for the time being. And off we go to this haunted house to investigate the horror. Apparently this case seems like it should be easy, but who's this? Asking if we're Migs. Simon Booth is his name. And apparently, this guy's also a ghost hunter. And apparently Migs contacted him as well. Which means we'll be working together. So now that we're being let in, we will see that there are actually 5 different paranormal investigators hired for this case. Each of them has a unique talent, apparently. So time for introductions. First, Alice Wilkins, who you might recall we saw that name on a grave in the previous game, so that's kind of strange. She majored in parapsychology at Harvard, and she came to investigate. Also Simon Booth from Birmingham, whom we just met. He believes in using technological devices to help detect ghosts, so he's a proper Karnaki. But he hasn't actually seen conclusive proof of ghosts. So next is Madame Tilly Rosenquist from London. She's apparently been gifted with the second sight. She says she's a true seer. And she can feel tremendous amounts of psychic energy emanating from the house's walls. And from Germany we have Otto Schneider. He doesn't say much, because he doesn't like talking about himself. And finally, Ben Jordan from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we could tell them about our past cases, make something up, act humble, or brag about ourselves. Let's go ahead and brag, because we're a jack. The world's most foremost. That's a bit of a double superlative there, Ben. Who has vanquished Sasquatches, exorcised ghosts, and rid the world of evil vampire witches, which is technically true. And we each have been given a room. I thought this was a bookshop. Why does it have so many rooms? Well, at any rate, now we are left to investigate. Madame Tilly is going to her room, as is Otto. Simon's going to investigate though, but Alice is going to take a nap. As for Ben, he's going to join Simon apparently. So now that we're finally given control, let's see what's in our inventory. Oh yeah, you might notice this is technically the first case, which separates the dialogue option into two different things, the small talk button and the questions button. So that's something. And in our inventory we have this cell phone. And I believe Percy did give us his number, but I can't remember what it was. So we can't really call anyone right now. Yeah, 22 doesn't seem like a valid number. What's the hang up button again? There it is. So we can check out the entrance hall, I suppose. We could check out the door, but we can't leave, can we? Not until we figure out what's going on. The window's stuck shut as well. And there are a bunch of books here, but first let's take a look at the rug. The books down here are about food and cooking, art, adventure books, including The Cup That Started an Empire, which is a reference to the adventure game engine that was used to make these games by Chris Jones, who made the thing. Harlequin romance novels, books on travel, books on ancient history, books on farming and veterinary care, including Keeping Your Ship in Shipshape by Berrien Williams. I think he was a member of the forums that the creator frequented when making this game. He helped out, but he was Welsh, thus prompting a barrage of sheep jokes. Self-help books, an encyclopedia set from the 1800s, books on the paranormal, which don't seem very interesting somehow, books on music, including Pentatonic Perils by A. Slott. I don't know what that's supposed to be referencing, really. But down here we have works of popular fiction, including House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I sure hope you've read that book, because if not, you won't get a lot of the references in this. Seriously though, I'll try to, I guess, clarify that when it comes up. So can we lift this rug? We see no reason to look under it at the moment, so we don't have any reason to lift the rug, fair enough. So let's go upstairs. You also might notice a distinct lack of music in this game. That's actually an artistic choice of sorts, because this is more about atmosphere than anything else. So we got Otto's room, Tilly's room, Simon's room, my room, well, Ben Jordan's room, and Alice's room. So let's see what's inside Ben's room. There's this weird sort of painting, which apparently gives us nightmares. Oh, that sucks. Apparently Lizard's having trouble. But there's also a table lamp here, a nightstand, the bed, a window, which is covered in a thick layer of grime, and the bathroom door. So this is kind of like a hotel. It's kind of strange since it's supposed to be a bookstore. So we have a mirror. Look into the mirror and see your reflection staring back at you, where they sit apparently. We've got our toilet, our bathtub. And some toilet paper. Can we get the toilet paper? Nope, but we can't touch the 2-ply softness. So what should we be doing? Well, Simon said he was going to investigate. I think this was his room. But he doesn't seem to be in there right now. And all the others are resting, so he's probably upstairs here. Well, that's a painting. A self-portrait by Francis Bacon. And apparently this door is the travel room. There's also this door with some scratches, which kinda look like claw marks apparently. But let's see what's going on in the travel room. This looks like a Goya painting, I think. Yep, the third of May shootings by Goya. Apparently Ben doesn't think much of the interior decorating. And a bookshelf full of light reading material, presumably for the purpose of being read here. Big ornate mirrors, couches, and another door. Well, maybe... Let me see if I can offer some help with Lizard's issues. Pause on pausing, reloading the page. Also might be the antivirus causing issues. I had that happen to me once with Kaspersky, but it seems to be fixed now. Or maybe not, but who will ever know? Certainly not me. So in here we have quite a few books, and also the... some of them have fallen out though. And notice how the shelf is slightly separate from the wall. And the ash grey color of the walls. And since I'm assuming that most of you have not read House of Leaves, this is one of the first references to that book. There's a scene early on where the walls of the house get larger and some of the books that are being like propped up against the wall fall off the bookshelf because of this changing structure. But inside the box there's some old books and a pair of old scissors. And also that's our "you just got a point" sound effect. So that's nice. Apparently because these books are old we have no interest in them. That's kind of close-minded. What about these books down here? Nothing of particular interest. Well, that sucks, man. Well, that was kind of nice, I suppose. But there is one more area of the house that we have not explored. This hallway right here. Touching hot lamps equals burned fingers, yes. Without these lamps we might fall on the stairs and break our neck, apparently. So up to the top of the stairs we go to this door right here. And we found Simon, who was apparently waiting for us. So let's have a look around. There's a door, but there's also a padlock to keep anyone out or in. Decorative lamps and a bell, which apparently can be rung from the inside of whatever room this is. Also Simon. He almost seems like an okay guy. Or does seem like an okay guy. So let's have some small talk with him. Yep, can't complain. So what can he say to us? He doesn't want to chit-chat right now. He's investigating the room. So what do you think of the others? They seem interesting. What about Alice? he has his doubts about her apparently, and Madame Tilly. She's very dramatic, but he's not very convinced by her psychic stuff. And about Otto, he doesn't know because he's a strong silent type. And this door right here. This is the door, yes, that leads into the room where the sailors were killed. There's this huge padlock on the door, unfortunately, so we can't really open it, but we got a point for finishing that conversation, I think. We do have these scissors, though, so if we interact with the padlock, our bare hands are no match for it. What about this bell? It feels cool, but we can't actually ring it. So what if we use these scissors on the padlock? Nope, it's impossible. It's almost as if the lock doesn't want to be picked. That's weird. What if we try to stab Simon? That wouldn't be appreciated. Isn't that the truth? So let's see if anyone else in the Haunted Investigator Hall wants to talk to us. Oh, hello, I see Diceros here now. Welcome. Let's start with Otto. He seems like an okay guy. He says to come in. That's awfully nice. So he's got a laptop here. He relies heavily on searching paranormal forums. That's curious. Some books. Which titles in German? A suitcase full of jeans and t-shirts. The bathroom door, the lamp, and he himself. An air of mystery, but he seems approachable. So let's see what he has to say. He doesn't like talking about himself. He doesn't think his life is relevant. Fair enough. What about the other investigators? He doesn't speak about people when they're not in his presence, but he thinks they're all interesting. And this research you're doing. He's trying to collect information on this house. There's apparently conflicting reports on paranormal activities. But he's very eager on gathering information. Doesn't really appreciate our general joke. And he doesn't have any lock-picking tools for the padlock on the 4th floor. And there it goes again, yes. So that wasn't too fruitful, unfortunately. But maybe someone who knows more about the house can help. Oh yeah, I forgot, we have this separate notes icon. Instead of having the notepad in the inventory. So we need to find a way into the horror room, and we have Percy's telephone. 02044690976. So let's try calling him. 020 what? 44690976. 020446909. Okay. Okay, we've reached him. So we can talk to him for a while. What about himself? He's been filling out paperwork. And a lesson on proper crime scene investigations, because he is a criminology professor. And he's apparently going to cite the Smailholm case. And our impressive technique of, just blundering around the town. And we can ask him to do some research. Specifically the house history. Which gets us another point, yes. So that's another thing that we have in the back burner. This was Simon's room, but I don't think he's in there right now. So let's go back in our room. See whether or not there's something in the nightstand. I found a small piece of paper with some handwriting on it. It makes this number. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and open up a notepad thing and write these numbers down. Because I don't feel like having to look at it again every time. Mix is 020 7428 4800 and wait. Mix and Jones is 020 something. It's in the notepad. Here we go. 020 4469 0976. There we go. So now I have that ready. Oh, I see Lizard had to leave. Later, Lizard. So we got a new telephone number. Mix's number. So I wonder if he could tell us anything about the house. So let's give him a ring. A few questions do we have for him? He's been in the antique book business for over 50 years, for it's a family business. And he's not very interesting, apparently. So what about this house? Purchased in 1925 for the antique bookshop. And he heard stories, but there wasn't anything actually paranormal until recently. He was clearing out some boxes near the travel room when he heard footsteps above him. But suddenly it got chilly and he saw a dark figure enter the room through the wall, which then floated through the wall. And apparently he dropped his scissors there. That's how they ended up there. So about the investigation. It's going well, apparently. And no one else has contacted him yet. About the locked door, though. It has a large padlock on it, yes. Apparently no one's ever been able to pick the lock, meaning he wasn't the one that locked it. Apparently there's rumors that the key's within the house. Someone would come into the house and unlock the door, and he put the key somewhere special. So it could be anywhere. So there were only a few floors or a few rooms in the house that haven't been remodeled. It could be either in the storeroom, the lobby, or the stairwell. So we already searched the storeroom and the stairwell, but there is one part of the lobby that we haven't quite thoroughly explored. Maybe if we look under the rock. No, Ben. Oh, Ben. Can anyone ever get through your thick skull? Maybe not. Well, we did just call Mix and get that information. The key could be in the storeroom, in the lobby, which apparently we're not willing to explore, or in that stairwell over there. Actually, wait a minute. Maybe if we had another look at those books, we might be able to discern something. I seem to remember one of these shelves saying Harlequin romance novels, and now one of the titles catches our eye, The Key to Her Heart. Wink, wink. Let's see if we can do anything with it. It's a box with a small lock on it. Not a book at all. So here's the book, quote unquote. A fake book. With a small lock on it which we cannot open, but we do shake it and hear that there's something inside, so let's stab the book. And inside we find this old rusty key. So that might actually be the key to the padlock. Might as well test it out. Well, you know. These games are admittedly fairly fun if you like playing them for the first time. You can look past the artwork and certain the blandness of the inventory screen and such. But anyway, we do have the key right now, so let's see if it works on the padlock. Yes, indeed. It does get better later, though. The key was hidden in an old book in the lobby, so let's open the door. With trembling hands, we stick the key in the lock and begin to turn it. Then suddenly... the music started playing. It sounded like a woman screaming. So we're gonna leave the door for the time being and go to investigate what happened. Apparently, Madame Tilly just had the most dreadful nightmare. She was in a large empty room, but there were no furnishings anywhere, doors or windows. Suddenly a dark figure came floating through the wall. That sounds like the spook we saw at the beginning, doesn't it? Burning red eyes and no facial features. And the spectre came with outstretched arms with claw-like hands, and then she awoke screaming. But the nightmare must have been a sign. An evil spirit lurks in the house, and it's not pleased with us staying here. And if we each go on our own, apparently, we are bound for tragedy. So it's time for a discussion of our plans. What time should we meet to see what else we're going to do here? In an hour. So in an hour we have to meet all the other people in the travel room. I'm fairly sure that's a hat. I can't imagine that someone's hair would look like that, by the way. So now that we've agreed to meet the others in an hour, let's see if anyone else has anything to say. Namely Alice. She lets us in. So what's going on? No, I meant the sort of hitbox detection. If you can even call it that, it's kind of weird. With human beings in this. So we all gonna have to look out for each other. Anything else? What about herself? She's from Sacramento and majors in parapsychology. And apparently she really likes Led Zeppelin. Which apparently he does as well. And her favorite song is Kashmir, and Ben's is Dazed and Confused. So you know, they listen to bands, so obviously they must really know what they're talking about. So what's your impression on the other investigators? They seem like a good group. What about Simon? Apparently she finds his accent cute. Somehow. What is it with American girls? I'm thinking English accents are cute. Well, heck if I know. Otto Schneider, what about him? Yes, he's very calm and reserved. Which apparently is a shame. What about Madame Tilly? She kind of freaks her out a bit, apparently. Being able to foresee people is kind of scary. So she doesn't want anything to do with her, apparently. Or talk about her future. And about her nightmare. Well, she didn't have any nightmares. But she does seem to know her stuff about parapsychological phenomena. And we don't know what room Madame Tilly might have seen in her dream. So now that we've completed that conversation, maybe now Ben will start listening to reason. Well, this is as good a time as any to try this. Now will you lift the rug, Ben? Apparently he will after the nightmare. That was his incentive. To figure out what was under the rug. Which was, you know, predictably enough, a trapdoor. Which apparently is an old trick, and yet he didn't think to investigate. It's locked and it hasn't been open in years. And we don't seem to have anything, except maybe the scissors, but I doubt it'll work. Nope, the tip is way too big to fit in the lock. So we can't open it with the scissors. We're gonna have to find something else. Well, maybe Mix knows something about this. Let's give him another phone call. What about this trapdoor in the lobby? Do you know anything about that? No, apparently not. So we can tell him about it, but it's absolutely useless, because he doesn't know anything that might help with that. And you might have noticed that we no longer have the key to the padlock. Even though the room was still locked last we left it, so it must still be up there. So let's go and see if we can open the door now. Well, here's Simon. What does he have to say? The key is gone missing. Apparently it was left in the lock when we left, and there was nobody here, and yet it disappeared. So whoever took it wasn't one of the investigators. Apparently he is not convinced that ghosts can't pick things up. So now we're locked out of the room again. That's not good. Maybe one of them did see something. Let's go try talking to them again. Let's start with Otto, since he does seem like a very level-headed guy. That was his room, wasn't it? No, it must have been this one then. Yeah, there we go. Do you know anything about that key that disappeared from the lock upstairs? Or the nightmare? That's a valid topic too, I suppose. The figure was consistent with descriptions of the spook. But he doesn't know if it was for real or not. He's not entirely convinced, but we did get a point from talking to him. So let's see if Alice has anything new to say about the disappearance from the key, of the key. She hasn't been upstairs, only in the hall. And the key disappeared, yes. So apparently we have a playful ghost on our hands and a muffled yell. Which apparently came from Simon's room. And apparently Otto heard it as well. So let's try to see... Oh, he just walks away. Sees someone else looking at it and completely cleans his hands of it. That's great. Uh-oh. What has happened here? Blood. Blood on the dresser. And also a bed with red sheets. So let's go into the bathroom. See where all the blood is coming from. Uh-oh. He had to get a towel from the dresser. And suddenly the water turned to blood. Which is apparently pretty damn creepy. So that's nice. The water in the shower turned to blood. Clearly this isn't a sign that they should leave or anything. It's lucky he didn't perish. But Ben doesn't seem convinced that anyone's in immediate danger. Oh yes, and as you might recall, there was the meeting in the travel room. Maybe we'll get to that now. Let's go talk to Alice and inform her of this meeting, even though she should know about it already. Something's very wrong in the house, which we will all get to talk about very soon. And I think Otto also needs to be reminded about the meeting. So into his room we go, and we try to talk to him. And we're all going to hear the stories in the meeting. So having told those two, let's see if we can get upstairs. Everyone should be in there by now. Oh yes, the water turned to blood, so apparently Simon just finished his story. Now everyone's debriefed. And the music's back. There's obviously something in this house. Unless Mix is a joker, which seems unlikely. But we can come up with a plan to deal with the spooks. We should try getting into the room at the top of the stairs. About the reason for the hunting. But nobody brought lockpicks and the key's gone. So that's unfortunate. But apparently there's a very obvious way of dealing with this. Which apparently lies with Madame Tilly. To establish a line of communication with the spirits and possibly reach a diplomatic solution. Which Simon doesn't apparently convince himself will work. But Alice is willing to give it a chance. There are enough of us to perform a séance. Which apparently everyone agrees to. She will serve as a medium, and we can perform the séance the next evening. And we will require certain items from each of the investigators. So that's going to be our next quest in this game. And apparently Simon brought some music, but Otto's excusing himself for the moment. Nope, nothing can go wrong in the séance. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So we can either hang out with these two or go to bed. But because we're irresponsible and also apparently we like people, we're going to hang out with them. Which gets us 5 points, because, you know, apparently that's what we're expected to do. Death by Mau Mau. I really don't know if that's supposed to be a joke about something. So let's tell our own joke. Have you heard the one about the guy whose friend has a magic lamp? Apparently we don't get to hear the punchline, so that's great. And now we're telling stories about when we became paranormal investigators. Ben majored in international relations, so it doesn't really relate to the career he chose afterwards. He hasn't done much globetrotting, but he really wants to go far away, wink wink. And apparently Alice has also only been to England, aside from the US. So we had a comfortable sleep, so now it should be day 2, I believe. But there's a knock at the door. What's this? Madame Tilly comes in. She's slept rather well. And she's come to speak to us about this seance. She requires 3 things from each participant. A bell, book and candle, no. We need a personal item, something that carries the aura. Has to have some sort of deep personal connection. But we will not have to part with it conclusively, so that's something. Good. But Ben didn't bring much to him. The second item, however, is some of the blood that each participant has. Apparently it dates back to the Odyssey, which, you know, there was that scene with the sheep's blood for talking to the spirits of the underworld, but... Oh, the final item is related to the elements. Apparently our element is fire. So apparently this is a seance based on natural philosophy. That's kind of weird. But she will be waiting in the travel room for when we have gathered all 3 of the items. So we need a personal item, some blood, and something relating to fire. That is our quest for this day. But since apparently that wasn't informative enough, we need to go back up to the travel room, where she said she would be waiting, and see if she has anything else to say. If we look at her, apparently she has something off about her. Wonder what that could be. But anyway, let's talk to her. About herself, since we didn't have time for chit-chat the previous day. She enjoys playing cribbage on weekends. So what about the sight? What is that? She can see beyond the mundane and into the far regions of reality. Which sounds kind of spooky. So she can predict something, but she prefers not to affect the outcome by not saying anything. So if someone's going to die, she's requested to say something about it. So what about these other investigators? So let's talk to her about everyone else. Alice is a very lovely girl, whose element is water apparently. Apparently we're an ideal partner because we're opposite elements. So what about Simon? Simon's very noble and brave, but he may be reckless. He does not act logically. But when he appears in her vision, she sees a black void, which isn't a good omen at all. Otto Schneider is shrouded in tragedy. There's something that haunts him from his past. So he prefers to stick to technicalities. So having exhausted that line of conversation, I think we're done here for the moment. Back to the investigator bedroom hall we go. Let's see if Alice has anything new to say. About the seance requirements, primarily. Scared her half to death. Apparently she does not like the idea of giving blood. It's like she's some sort of old vampire or something. But Ben has seen vampires and she's nothing compared to them, as you might remember. Apparently vampires look like Voldemort. And she's having plumbing problems, which is kind of unfortunate given how her element is water. Last night was a lot of fun apparently, and just by mentioning it we get a bunch of points. So can we check out her bathroom? Yes, we're going to have a look at her toilet apparently. See if we can use our handyman skills to check anything. So we take off the toilet stop and see that there's some grime around the plunger thing. The stopper. Can we remove it? Apparently we refuse to do it with our bare hands because there must be a better solution. The stopper's jammed for the time being, so there's that. So we're going to need some sort of way to get rid of that grime to unblock the toilet. But we cannot do anything for the time being. So let's leave this place and see if Simon's in his room. He is. So let's find out what his element is. He doesn't know what he's going to do for his element because apparently he's air. Burning things is apparently more doable than air. So apparently Simon wants to keep in touch with us, Ben and Alice that is, after the case ends. That's nice. Actually wait, we might want to check out the bathroom since there was that odd blood situation the previous day. So there's the shower stall, which is covered with blood. There's the blood on the floor. The mirror, which is part of a cabinet. And the rest of this stuff. And, you know, conveniently inside the cabinet we find a jar of industrial strength toilet cleaner. Which, wouldn't you know it, is exactly what we need to unblock Alice's toilet. So let's go and do that now. How great it is that we have exactly what we need inside each room. So let's go back to this view, I suppose. And use our toilet cleaner, you know, conveniently labeled TC, with this grime. So apparently that went on for years, but now we have an empty bottle and we can use the mechanism. And wouldn't you know it, there was a key under the stopper. A silver key at that. Yep, the toilet is fixed. Any more congratulatory statements? Apparently not. So what can we do with this silver key? Well, if we take a look at it, it's just a tiny, slightly damp silver key. Just like the title of H.P. Lovecraft's story, The Silver Key. Which I don't think that's referring to, so let's not give credit where credit is undue. But there was a part of this place, aside from the big door upstairs, which was locked. And it is this trapdoor right here. So let's try using the silver key on that. Yep. That resulted in the opening of the lock. So down into whatever room this is we go. There's a window with apparently a little light coming through. More ash grey walls like in House of Leaves. Wink wink. Cabinet sitting against the back wall. Let's see what's in this cabinet. A large wax candle and a book of matches. So doesn't that seem convenient? We have a wax candle and some matches. So that should be what we need for the element of fire. Now we have a lit candle, yes. And we also have a use for this jar, fortunately. The scissors feel pretty sharp. We need to find a way to stab ourselves and bleed so we can fill that jar with our blood. But apparently Ben doesn't want to use the scissors on himself just yet. So what can we do to convince him? Well, for the time being there's something else we can do. You might recall that we also need a personal item, and there's someone holding on to our belongings. As luck would have it. That would be Percy. So we left some personal items with his care. So let's see if we can get Percy to bring us our ring. A gold ring with a red stone, which we need by tonight. Because I believe we... well, that was fast. We just hung up and there's a knock at the door. And he's suddenly here. That was the fastest delivery I've ever seen. Your ring is ready in less than 30 seconds or your money back. So now we have two of the things we need. We have the candle and the ring, which was our grandfather's ring. And yes, Ben does have a Nokia, I believe. Or an icon, if this is to be believed. That's subtle. But we still need the blood if we are to prepare ourselves for the seance. But Ben doesn't apparently want to use the scissors, which is a shame. Well, I can, Ben. I'm kind of surprised that you apparently can't. Maybe if we take the scissors and use it on Ben... Yes, there we go. We just cut our index fingers and let the blood drip into the empty jar. So finally we have all three items. We have the element of fire in the candle, we have the personal item, and we have the blood. So let's go meet with Madame Tilly and give her this stuff. But before we do so, that should be the cue for the seance to begin, so let's save our game. Look at all those save games. But there's only one save game file name I'm interested in, and that would be Spooks Incoming with lag. So having done that, let's give her all this stuff. Let's see if we can give it to her directly, or if we have to go through the dialogue option. Okay, so there's the ring, the jar of blood, and the candle. So it's time for the seance. I sure hope everyone's excited. It's time to summon the spirits that dwell in this house. So it's time to present our personal item and explain its significance. Otto's item is a pin given to him by his late wife Anna, who apparently passed away recently. That must be why he's so stoic. Simon's got a book on ghosts when he read when he was 12 years old. Alice has a CD, which was the first thing she ever bought with her own money. And Ben, I suppose, is supposed to talk. Hello? Ben, are you going to talk? Or, what is the prompt here for talking? Maybe present the ring? Yeah, there we go. The ring belongs to Ben's grandfather, who inspired him to pursue. So it's time to begin this seance. Time to focus on the energies of Berkeley Square. Can you make your presence known, spirits? Nothing's happening. But Booth mustn't break his concentration. Again, she calls on the spirits, and suddenly the room's temperature drops slightly. Someone is in here with us. Oh, spirit, we request an audience. The room is definitely getting very cold now. So time to meet the spook. Oh, wait. The ghost's voice blows in and out of the wind. Oh, it's one of the sailors. He stayed in the house for the night, and he was attacked by the nameless horror and fell to his death. But he's not the only ghost in this house. The nameless horror is the doom of himself and other unfortunate souls who dwell there. How many others are there? There are 4 others, 2 of them in this room, but they don't wish to speak. The horror doesn't want them to be here, which is why he turned the water to blood. So if they don't leave, they're going to have a horrible fate. We are weak against it when it becomes enraged. So why did the horror become active? Apparently it becomes dormant for years at a time. So he's giving us our fair warning. We should get out of here and not inside the wrath of the horror. So he goes in peace. And Simon nearly pissed his pants just then. Madame Tilly. She has a glassy look in her eyes. Uh-oh, this isn't good. What isn't good? Uh-oh, it knows we're here. It knows we've spoken to the spirit. It's approaching. Oh god, help us, it draws near. So that was something. Yes, thanks for repeating what I just said, Simon. So how is Madame Rosenquist? Apparently she's fine, but she must rest. Oh, hello, Ambersbug. There's definitely one friendly ghost and one hostile ghost in the house. So we must read the house of the hostile ghost, try to expel the horror, but we won't need priests. How will we do it? Oh, he doesn't know. But Otto is going to do us a favor and research that. Which Alice will help him do. So let's get to work to try to figure out how to drive out this evil spirit. Well, everyone seems to know this stuff, but Ben is mad because he's clueless. And he's suddenly very self-loathing. He's just some college kid who wanted to see the world. And he's lucky he hasn't been killed yet. But what's this? Ben Jordan. If that is what you seek, I will be happy to provide. I should cover this up, shouldn't I? For everyone's sake. So that was a nightmare. And now that Ben is done with his most important business of the morning, and apparently didn't notice "Get Out" written on the mirror, that's great. So out we go. Let's see what sort of spooky mishaps we can get into today. Apparently Simon's upset and confused at the fact that this door has appeared out of nowhere. Wouldn't be a good idea to do anything rash. Huh? The front door is locked though. We're trapped in here like rats with a psychopathic ghost who's getting his jollies by fucking with our minds. So you got your R rating right there. Or PG rating, I don't know. Because this English guy just swore like a sailor by saying fuck once. So yeah, there's this door right here that wasn't there yesterday. can we open the door? No, we don't want to go looking around in there by ourselves. And by the way, Ambushbug, I think, who might be the only person here who will get the references to this thing that was revealed at the start of the game. We do have the book House of Leaves in this bookshelf, and the game has its fair share of references to it. Mostly because in some of these rooms there's these ash-grey walls which sort of, you know, stretch out and appear much larger than they're supposed to be. So something to keep in mind. So a lot of weird stuff has been happening, but with the seance, the evil ghost, and this door appearing out of nowhere. Let's see if Otto has any information. Well, there's Madame Rosenquist, sleeping. Let's see what Otto has to say about all this. The research is apparently going quite well. He's been investigating the technique that Simon exposed the previous night, also spook noise. Madame Tilly's been sleeping for over 18 hours. That's even longer than my record. The seance did not agree with her, but it didn't seem to damage her mind. So what about this door that appeared out of nowhere? Apparently Otto hasn't seen it, because he hasn't left the room today. And the message in the mirror... No, Ben, the message in the mirror. He found the words "get out" written on the mirror. Apparently it just appeared. And the front door is locked. So if it wants us to get out, why would it lock us in? That's a fair point. So maybe the message was written by one of the friendly spirits. So off to Alice's room we go, see what she has to say about all this. Because she was supposedly helping Otto research stuff. Otto's Wesker without glasses. Yes, clearly the tyrant is the horror's true identity. So what does Alice have to say? Ben's concerned about Simon because he seemed really upset. And he didn't seem like himself. Maybe he's just showing his true colors. That seems kind of unlikely. But Ben has bad experiences with lying people. Maybe we could talk to him though. So what about this mystery door? She was the first to notice it apparently. And Madame Tilly. Yes, she's still sleeping. And apparently Alice hasn't gotten any weird messages on the mirror, which is great. So that was very informative, which is why we get that point, I'm sure. Maybe Simon has something to say, if he's in his room. No, he isn't apparently. So where could Simon be? Well, we did see him going up the stairs earlier. So I might know where he would have gone looking. This door up here. See if he's redoubled his efforts to open up the horror room. Yes, there he is. So what's your opinion on the mysterious door? It's the doing of whatever haunts the house, and pretty damn scary. So he didn't get a mirror message either. But he did get that bloody shower earlier. So is there anything on the mind of Simon? Well, he's never experienced anything like that, which really wound him up apparently. Should just open the door apparently. So off we go to open the door and see what lies beyond. What do you know? It's a giant room with ash grey walls. I wonder if this is reminiscent of anything. Something about this room doesn't feel right. Simon? Oh shit. So where did Simon get off to? Well, he... apparently... One moment. Sorry about that, everyone. I got an unexpected distraction. Namely that, oh yes, you are hearing that burn, that is the game audio skipping. So I had to give my dog some medicine, since she was fixed last Friday and she's still recovering, so that's done now. And also Simon is nowhere to be seen, so that's unfortunate. He wandered off and now there's a dead end, and now the door has also disappeared. What is going on here? Say, does this remind you at all of the bestseller book House of Leaves by Mark C. Danielewski? It must be nothing more than a coincidence, clearly. Or an intentional homage, but, you know. Sometimes that works better than other times. And now there's a new door in sight. Nope, that door wasn't there before. Yep. This sure is a big room, bigger than the entire house. Notice the ash-grey walls as well. And that weird sort of noise in the background. Multiple choices. Where should we go? I'll take door number 1. Oh wait, we're back here. That's unfortunate. So I'll take door number 2. And we're back here again. Well, clearly there's only one choice left. We will take door number 3. Which leads us back here. Maybe there's something we're missing here. Let's go back out this way. Maybe something might have popped up in the other side of the room. Or maybe not. Maybe that was only a big, you know, waste of time, but... Let's resume our amazing adventure backwards. Well, I'm stumped. Clearly, there are 3 doors that we can go through, and none of them lead to victory, so that's unfortunate. Oh dear. Maybe there's something we missed. In door number 2. Maybe there isn't something we missed in door number 2. Well, does door number 2 lead us to a room with an exit? It does not. So this is not a fortunate thing. Yes, this must be the Hall of Death, clearly. Ben must kill himself before he can escape this place. Oh, what the heck. Suddenly we're out. Well, that was sudden. And also Simon disappeared. Doors and rooms keep shifting around. Much like they do on Ash Tree Lane. But we're in Berkeley Square, not Ash Tree Lane. And also Simon's gone. That's very peculiar. So Simon might be dead, and Ben's very angry about it. Killed Simon, and Madame Rosaquist is now in a coma. So he's not pleased at all with how things have gone. And he is... oh wow. So Otto lost his wife and 2 children. Well, that explains why he's so reserved, I suppose. So when tragedies occur, we cannot allow ourselves to be overcome with grief. We need to carry on. So suddenly Ben is back in his good spirits. So it's good that we have Otto to tell us about this thing. Tell us about our pep talk. So we have a strategy now, apparently. We need to gather at the point where the spiritual activity is most strong. The room that we haven't managed to get into yet. Get the spirit's attention and channel its energies to create a portal to the netherworld. So we need to prepare the ritual. Let's see if we can perform it successfully. So what do we need? Well, first thing we need to do is go back in there. Nope, we don't want to go looking around there. What we do need to do, however, is well, find a way to unlock the door upstairs, which we still haven't figured out how to do. Oh, shit. Maybe there's something in our room that we missed. Oh, like that cell phone call. So Percy's calling us and he found out something. So there's something we might not know about. Some of the windows in the house have been painted over to prevent people from seeing from the outside. So it's more than just grime. Sometimes the windows aren't really windows at all. They're just pieces of cardboard. And it's only for the windows that don't get much rain. So now we know that some of the windows are fake. I wonder if this one is. Yep. So now we go out through the open window. Or the windowsill, rather. And now we're on the ledge. So there's a crack in the wall. And a drain pipe here. Let's see if we can't interact with the drain pipe. So with that we got a loose section of pipe. That's great. I'm glad that we managed to score that for our inventory. I'm sure that'll come in very handy. Well, at least there's only one more room we need to do, I think. One more thing we need to do, and that is open the room upstairs. So with our recent foray into stuff, we might have noticed that the padlock is actually kind of old. So of course we take this piece of drain pipe and push it against the padlock. Let's see what you do against a pissed off paranormal investigator. So apparently he's just as surprised as I am that that worked. So we finally made it into the spook room. There's a window that someone was thrown out of. Some odd marks on the wall. Scratch marks with a dried dark red substance on them. And a string, which is connected to the bell outside. So let's make another save here. No. Oh wow. Isn't this lag incredible? Well, I know what I'm going to name a save. Lag. There we go. So maybe we can try pulling the string to see if the bell rings. Yep, that does indeed seem to have worked. So what is with these odd marks on the wall? They were made by human fingers. So yes, we managed to open up the spook room, so we've managed to score quite a victory, considering that we didn't manage to do that at any point before now. Oh boy. I hope so too, Zero. So yes, we've made quite a bit of progress toward our final project. Oh, the ghost expulsion. Well, we can talk to them about this as well, so might as well do it. We'll be sending the ghost to another dimension, the dimension of death. And we're gonna force it into the light. What about Madame Tilly? She hasn't done much. But she should be fine once we expel the spirit. Simon's still gone. And finally we did manage to unlock the top floor room. So let's all go upstairs and see what we can do about it. We aren't alone here, so how do I get the horror's attention? The summoning must be performed by a male and the portal... No, wait. The summoning by a female and the portal opening by a male. So time for Alice to chant a verse. Tempus aeternum mortis quis hoc eventum simile. And I didn't get to read the last thing. So he was worried that a floating skeleton with an apron and machete was going to materialize and kill everyone. Not to a slightly better made game series. But there's footsteps coming up the stairs? Uh-oh. It's just like what happened over 100 years ago. Oh wait, it's just Madame Tilly, never mind. Oh shit! The horror has possessed her body and now it can destroy them all. Cuius paradise... Oh, but... shoot. The horror doesn't semper fi priam. I don't know if that's a legitimate sentence in Latin. Oh shoot! So clearly Alice is dead now. I don't know. Oh, but he managed to open the portal, but now Otto's being force choked. That's great. So yeah, that's Madame Tilly. Currently possessed by the horror. Let's try punching her. No, we'd really rather not. Help Otto? No, we'd really rather not. Can't see anything out the window because it's too dark. That's sure is a portal to the dimension of death. So... maybe if we attack the horror with the lead pipe. Oh, but we can't move our arms. I wouldn't try that if I were you, she says. So let's take the desperation move and ring the bell. And it doesn't like the bell, so it's raising its hands up to its ears. So now that it's let its guard down, let's try punching her with the lead pipe. Well, that went better than expected, certainly. Well, in a sense, I mean... oh boy. So we have to go check on Alice, who was thrown out the window. I wonder if she's... oh... apparently she is. And so is Simon. That's kind of a huge coincidence, isn't it? Yeah, apparently he suddenly appeared outside and caught her right as she was falling. That's very convenient. So the case is solved. The horror is gone and everyone is alive somehow. That's kind of disappointing. Someone should have died. So Mace was pretty happy. Apparently we did get paid. And we are now apparently buddies with Alice and Simon. So that's great. Oh, but apparently Percy's ominously suggesting that he will be keeping his eye on Jordan. I wonder what that's about. But anyway, that was Ben Jordan Case 4. Horror at number 50, which by the way is supposedly based on a real legend. There really is a number 50 on Berkeley Square in London, which is a reputation of being haunted. It was bought by a bookseller called Meg's, not Mix, so that's where that came from. But I don't think that much else than that was used as a basis for this. And apparently I've been missing quite a bit of the chat, so let me read up on that just real quick. Well, that was fun. And this time... Oh, that was Ben Jordan 4, actually. And Ben Jordan 5 and pretty much all the Ben Jordan games after this are kind of long, so I'm going to go ahead and do something else now and save the other games for another stream.